We were producing video content for companies, and one of the clients, which was a big client, said, "Have you ever seen these video brochures?" And I said, "Yeah, I have seen video brochures." They were like, "We would really like to get these." And so I took that initiative and I just went online and I just went crazy searching to get samples to try and maybe sell video brochures. I don't know. I never said that I sold video brochures to this company. They never asked me. They just brought it up, and then I just went for it. Long story short, 30,000 video brochures, the biggest deal I've ever done.
Welcome, everyone, to the Chasing Goalposts podcast. Today, we're joined by an entrepreneur whose journey began back in 2011 and 2012. This was the year Left Hook Videos was established in the great state of Texas. Since then, he's seen good times and challenging times, distractions along the way that caused him to refocus, and pivots that had to occur to keep the business thriving along the way. Did I mention he is a fellow Canadian? Clark Diemer, welcome to the Chasing Goalposts podcast.
Thank you so much, Dustin. I really appreciate it, man. Happy to be here.
We're going to get into that Detroit Tigers hat a little bit here, I think, right away, because we're going to challenge you a little bit right out of the gate on that. But Clark, we're excited to learn a lot about the entrepreneurial journey, the Left Hook video story. But before we do that, let's jump into your upbringing back in the great country of Canada.
Sure. So the hat, it is funny because I'm from Canada, and so everybody, and I collect these. I have about 27 of them. I wear a different Detroit Tiger hat with about everything besides a suit, and people are always confused by that. But people who know me know that the city I'm from is Windsor, Ontario, and that is about 900 yards away from Detroit. And so we are in a lot of ways like a suburb of Detroit. Our economy is just like Detroit automotive. Our sports teams, we don't go for Toronto. We go for all Detroit teams. So yeah, I'm proud to be from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Hard-working city, blue collar, and I really believe that my upbringing and everything that I learned from my parents and my family, hard work. And the mantra of you only lose if you quit. You only lose if you quit. And I moved here when I was 22, and I'm 41 now. So I've almost spent more time in Texas than Canada, which is strange.
Yep, no, I get that. I hear that full circle. I'm glad you brought up the Toronto piece. So you made sure that you brought up you're not a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, just for clarity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Why would I do that though? I don't know why. Just there's confusion in the NHL world when it comes to Ontario. Like there's this confusion that like we should go for Toronto. Toronto's 4 hours away. I didn't grow up going to Toronto games. Okay, I went to Joe Louis Arena, literally 15, 20 minutes from my house. So I'm a Red Wings fan all the way.
Yeah, we know all about that, right? And a lot of people think about Canada, and just because you're in Canada, you're a Maple Leafs fan or you're a Canucks fan. But the
No.
reality is Canada's a pretty big country, and there's a few hours in between most of these cities, like sometimes 12. So all good, man. But no, now that we know about your upbringing in the suburb of Detroit, or in other words, Windsor, Canada, how did you end up in the great state of Texas?
It's crazy because I've always known that I wanted to go into business. I mean, really, I did because of my father and my uncles. Like that was always there. And I guess you could say I was on my way to do that. I worked for my father at a very young age. He owned a safety supply store called Great Lakes Safety Products, which serviced all the plants in the city for hard hats, gloves, and safety supplies. I mean, very young age working there. And then I worked for my uncle's car dealership all the way up until I moved here. So I was kind of on the path. And then, life got a little crazy, made some young man mistakes, made some bigger young man mistakes, and then compounded on those a little bit more. And then got to a place where life was, was pretty, rough as far as personal life and decision making and consequences. And so, with some help of some family members, it was like, hey, go to school in Dallas, go to the school, Christ for the Nations. And I'm like, Christ for the Nations? Like, I love Jesus. I love him. And my whole life is based off the word of God. Let's make that clear right off the bat. But like, dude, I think my first response was like, bullshit. Like, I'm not, like, why would I do that? But something in me, and I believe now, all these years later, I believe it was the Lord, But in my gut, it was like, take the step for whatever reason. So I leave a full-time job. I was living out on my own. I had my own car, and I moved to a place I can't work. And so I move here. I don't have a car yet. I don't know anybody, and I'm going to this school that I'm not going to go into ministry. Like I know I'm not, but I'm here, and I do it anyways. And my life changed forever. I mean, it just absolutely did, and that's how I got here.
Oh, that's a great story. And obviously, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the output of that with your entrepreneurial journey. But I think your family dynamic has changed a little bit since you moved to
Mm,
Texas. Do you want to elaborate
mm.
on that at all?
Yeah, not too much though, because I don't want to get emotional on your podcast. But
Hey,
the you know how we grow up, in business. Why? That would you agree that Simon Sinek really made that a key practice that you must master in the world of business? He really did make it famous. Start with why, and then ever since then, that question is like the most important question in every discovery meeting of every business, any sales, anything. Why? And and when we do our creative briefs with new clients and trying to identify them, who they are, who their target audience is, why is number one. And everybody has a different why. And a lot of people, struggle to get to their why. And I overcomplicated my why for so long. Oh, why am I doing this? Oh, to do this and do that. And I want to do this altruistic and all these things. No, my why is three girls: Esther, my wife; Sophia, my 11-year-old; and Bella, my 9-year-old. That's it. That's my why. That's my drive. That's why when I think about, you know, my dad's famous words of, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And he says it just like that, no matter what I'm going through, like, like all the way at the bottom. Yep, I know. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And you only lose if you quit. Those three girls, they drive that.
simple statements, but huge impact, man. We
Yeah.
love that. And, it's funny you bring up the why. I think the challenge in business and in life, and what I've been learning a lot too, is once you understand where you want to go and why you want to do it, the rest of the stuff is easy to put a plan in place. But until
Yeah.
you figure that out, and I've been there, we're floating a little bit in the wind, right? It
Mm,
sounds like you were floating a little bit before you moved down to
hmm.
Texas,
Oh yeah.
and sounds like you found your core there as you came down
Hmm. Hmm.
to the state of Texas. So let's dive a little bit into that business you kind of referenced there a few minutes ago, Left Hook Videos. Why did you make the move to start your own business?
Well, the answer to that is definitely my mom and dad. I saw it my entire life. And it's almost weird to think, but I was surrounded by business owners my whole life. My wife literally, when she came to meet my family for the first time dating, she mentioned that to me. She's like, "Do you not see that like everybody around you owns a business? Like all your parents' friends?" I was like, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah." And so that's the answer to that. Like that's all I saw. I saw mom and dad since when I was 6 years old, 1989. They started a business and they just worked it together, and so that's all I ever saw. And then my uncle's car dealership, and so it was almost like this is it, right? But I moved to America, so I did make it more difficult on myself because I have established business waiting for me to, waiting for me. I have connections and family connections and all this stuff. I just told you all my parents' friends are business owners, but I made the decision to stay here. And at the beginning, that was difficult because I couldn't work here. I couldn't even make a living except for at the school. My first job was $7.75 an hour washing dishes in the cafeteria at the school because I couldn't work anywhere else. And people thought I was crazy. They're like, because I was a little bit older at this school. I was 21 or 22. I was older than some of the other kids,
Yep.
definitely a lot more life experience by that time. And they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't care what you guys think about me. I have to make money, even if it's a little bit." Then I got a special training visa to work for this nonprofit, this nutritional supplement company. And then I married Esther Diemer and I got a green card. And when that happened, obviously I could work anywhere. And so I had been working for that nonprofit, and the for profit said, "We'd like to hire you as marketing director." And I said, sounds great. I get hired on, 90K a year, benefits. I'm like 30. I'm the youngest marketing director. It's a publicly traded company. And I like it because it's new and I'm like in corporate America and I'm in big America and a big, business. And I realized, and I was good at my job, because I care a lot and I care about details and I'm an owner. So I take ownership of things and it's just a natural thing I do. But I realized very quickly, like 1 year in, I need to be working and putting this energy in towards something that's mine. So I quit with no clients whatsoever. And so what did I do? Well, I've seen my whole life people who own businesses that they're not passionate about. This is how I know that this is a very, very, you want to get into that a little bit. This is a very touchy subject. You have to be passionate about what you do. You don't have to be passionate. Well, all I can tell you is my experience. My father is not passionate about hard hats and safety glasses. My mom's not passionate about earplugs and gas masks. My uncle, one of the largest Chrysler dealerships in Canada, does not care about cars. And he never has. He told me a long time ago when I was a lot boy on the dealership, huge dealership. I'm up in his office that looks over the whole lot. And I'm talking about the new cars. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. You see the new Chargers that came in? All the RT. He goes, you know what I see when I see that look out there? I said, what? Iron, steel, rubber, money. That's all I see. So this is what I'm seeing. So when I'm going to start a business, I'm not thinking about anything other than what will work and what can I do. And I was a marketing director at this company. I thought I did a pretty good job. I liked it. So I started a marketing agency. I mean, it's really that simple. I had some people in play where I could, subcontract for things. And that's what I did. For the record, I do not know how to edit a video. I do not know how to design on Photoshop. I do not know how to run a camera. I don't know how to do that stuff. So I quit that job and started Diemer Marketing Group. And I did not have a single client. And then I just started. I just went and had in my house for a while. Then I rented an office. Then I had I had an employee, like a part-time employee that sat in that office. Then that part-time employee became full-time. Then I hired my brother-in-law. He sat in that office. And then there was 3 of us in this tiny little room. Then I got another office. And then I got bigger. And I had a moment in business where, video brochures. Okay. So here's something that nobody's ever heard. And I didn't lie. So it's the truth. So I'll just say it now. We were producing video content for companies, and one of the clients, which was a big client, said, have you ever seen these video brochures? And I said, yeah, I have seen video brochures. They were like, we would really like to get these. And so I took that initiative and I just went online and I just went crazy searching to get samples to try and maybe sell video brochures. I don't know. I never said that I sold video brochures to this company. They never asked me. They just brought it up, and then I just went for it. Long story short, 30,000 video brochures, the biggest deal I've ever done. I went to China to make sure that I got done correctly. I had never sold a video brochure ever, and then I sold 30,000, and everything changed. And also for the record, I never sold another one again. I tried so hard to replicate that moment. You got these services and products, websites at the time and social media and video, your average price point is like $2,500. And then all of a sudden, this massive, massive number. And I'm like, I got to double down on that. Didn't work. And I went all in, like guns blazing, gunslinger, just went for it and was positive it would work because I just did it. And I went to China and I made sure that everything was good and the client was happy. And I couldn't believe we pulled it off. And I never had to lie. Never asked me, have you ever done this before? They just assumed, and I just went. And then, I was going through a tough time during that season. One, because I couldn't sell another video brochure, and I went all in on it. And my other services were declining. And I'm 12 years sober from alcohol, and I got addicted to Adderall. And I thought it made me Superman. I did. And it's addict behavior. I thought it made me a better entrepreneur. And it's 2017, and I can't sell another video brochure. I have 8 employees at the time. Everything is down. I'm addicted to Adderall. And my brother-in-law, who's worked for me from day one, walks into my office and said, "Hey, I got to have a brother-in-law conversation with you, not a boss, brother, not a boss conversation." I said, "Yeah, I love you, whatever you need." He's like, "No, this is about you because I'm the big brother." He's like, "This is about you." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Bro, I'm really worried about you." I said, what are you talking about?" He's like, "You'll get here at 5 in the morning and you won't leave till like 9 o'clock. We don't see you eat. We were on a flight to England 2 months ago." He said, "I watched you work on a PowerPoint presentation for 7 hours straight and you did 3 slides. I never moved because I'm just zoned out." He said, "You're like tweaking and you're picking at your beard and you have ingrown hairs. And every time we have to film you, we have to put makeup on you because of the ingrown hairs." I mean, he just, and he's like nervous and he's telling me this and it hits me. This is killing me. It's killing my business. And so I quit. It was painful. I mean, quitting alcohol was very tough because I was addicted to alcohol. I drank a lot of alcohol and it was a tough process with my body. Adderall was body and mind. I just thought I needed it and I quit. And then the business failed ultimately. I mean, it was so far gone. It failed completely. Done. And then I decided almost immediately, well, I know that I want to work for myself. Okay. I know that I have to start fresh and I know some things not to do. Can I start fresh? Can I do this all over again? Now my kids are older, they're at the time they're, 2 and no, 1 and 2. So like young, I'm like, do I have it in me? And, and what do I do? And then I kind of just looked at everything once I could take a breath and was like video. I love video the most. It's the most in demand. I can charge the most. And, I wasn't thinking about AI at the time, but technologies
Mm-hmm.
were really growing then. I'm like, video is still, it's becoming king. And so I went all in and I decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to start all over. Literally the same story, but in 2017, starting over. And I knew I wanted the name to be edgy and I knew I wanted the word videos to be in the name. So there was no confusion. And I used to do this thing where I would go to the movie theater by myself during the day. It's weird. I know. I'd bring a notebook and I would literally watch a movie by myself at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, watching a movie, and I would get ideas. And I came back to the office. I went and saw a movie. I forget which one it was, but I went and saw a movie and I came back and I was like, Tony, who was still with me, Left Hook Videos, punched through the online noise. And he's like, I got it. And he just starts going and he builds this, he builds this brand. And I'm like, all right, video only, let's go. And I started again. And I thought I had done my dues. I thought I had taken my shots. I thought I'd done the struggle, everybody, you start a business. And if you think you have a timeline of success, you're crazy or you're full of shit. Like there is no map. There is no, once you do your due pain, then you will get this. That's not the case. So I thought that. And so I'm going through again, right now going through and then, a year later, COVID hits. So then I'm like, holy cow, the office I'm in, building them out, they're shutting down. Clients are calling me like, we're not doing events anymore. And I'm like, am I going to go under again? Like, is this really going to happen? And I'm like, no. I'm like, what do I do? And so I don't know how it happened, but I came up with this thought. What's an irresistible offer? Everybody talks about this. There's all these theories. And I just decided to be really honest about that question. What is a irresistible offer? How can I get some of these past clients to sign with me during COVID? And I realized personally that an irresistible offer is when you lift up the hood of the car and let your prospect, your client look in and they go, whoa, he's going to give us all this shit for this? Yeah, that's an irresistible offer. So I just came to an hourly rate, a number that I knew would make them go, oh, hold on here. Let's learn more. And it worked. I got 3 clients at $6,000 a month with a 12-month contract. And I had never gotten a 12-month contract before. One of them was a 6-month contract. And then we had no expenses because we're all working from home. and it got us through. It did. And when we got through COVID, I realized, okay, like I'm just now getting the taste of what entrepreneurship is really like, and I have to lean into it. And you only lose if you quit, and the most important, sorry, I
Right,
waited
man.
till I waited all the way to here before sharing this. Um, what's funny is that I do this for a living, and I'm usually the guy directing and trying to get people to cry, and you didn't even say anything. My wife is the single most important aspect of this entire thing. That's it.
That's cool, man.
She
We
is
love it.
she is for every reason. Backbone, drive, she is. And we're here today because my wife stood with me.
I appreciate that, sharing that story because, we talk a lot on this platform about authentic human stories. And, we talk about social media and how everybody sees that
Yeah.
success on social media, but what they don't see is that grind, the struggle that we all go through at different times of our life, the mental battles, the physical battles. You had talked a little
Yeah.
bit about the addiction piece there, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's very cool for people to hear that, Clark, because I think at the end of the day, everybody thinks that are going through these things that it's only them that's going through it, but other people have gone through it and come out the other side, and
Yeah.
you've done that. So
Yeah.
kudos to you, man, for doing
No,
that
thank you.
and for
Thank you.
and for working through the, let's call it, the shit,
Yeah.
and coming out the other side of that. So
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
yeah, so left hook, right? So left hook. Now, you talked a lot about videos, right? And your journey to kind of get to left hook going. So maybe just give the audience an idea of what services you provide today within your business.
Yeah, so we provide video content for corporations and nonprofits, mainly on the corporate side. But before you would have like 3 or 4 videos in your arsenal. You would have your brand video, maybe some sales videos, maybe some tutorials, and then product videos. But we call those like evergreen. Like you could do that once, put it on your stuff, and then walk away. Well, now times have changed. You have to volume is the name of the game. So we've tapped into that, obviously, and we produce a lot of content. So we have a lot of nutritional supplement clients. And again, going back to the beginning, do I have experience in nutritional supplements? No. It's the company that happened to hire me when I was an international student to go work for the nonprofit and then the for-profit. So I had that like minimum of experience, but it was enough. So I started targeting nutritional supplement companies.
Yep.
And and I think the biggest thing for me is when it comes to what we provide is we are like an extension of your marketing team. That is the way that's my favorite way and it's not just because that means they're a monthly retainer client. I love those. We do projects as well, but I like it when a CMO can call and say, hey, the CEO just gave us a new launch date and we are in trouble. Can you help us with a launch video? Can you help us with these? I love that. I love being the extension of their marketing team. And that's what we are. We're an in-house team. There's 4 of us full-time total, obviously, video editors and script writers, and they're multi-tool. All of them are very multi-tool. They can shoot, they can edit, they can animate, and we just produce all different types of video content. And every single piece of video content we create, and I make this really clear, especially with owners, people like to think, oh, video is very um, what's the word, materialistic. It's very flashy and it's vanity, and you don't have to have it. It's I tell people, like, every single video we make is tied to a sale, meaning we don't make videos for fun. Like, we don't make videos so someone can go, oh, cool. No, we make videos for a sale. And so where we are in the sales process for customers, clients, is I believe, at the very beginning. What do you have before you can tell your audience anything, before you can sell them anything? You have to have their attention. That's the number one commodity online. That's what everybody's fighting for. That's why a Super Bowl commercial is millions of dollars and is worth every single cent. Eyeballs is all you're after. And so for us, whether we're creating a 15-second little short social media video for a supplement or creating an actual sales video or a brand video, all of it is tied to get their attention and to do something. Every single video we make. I mean, I think the only time we don't have a video that is geared towards a sale, attention, engagement, and a sale is when we're doing training videos in-house for teams, which we do those as well. But that's it. That is, you can't tell anybody anything until you first have their attention. Let us get their attention for you.
Well, I can be, a testament to that, because we buy a lot of stuff now off of social media after watching a video, right? Seeing a short clip, and we're in, and before you know it, the credit card's out and it's on its way.
Yeah.
Right. So we fully understand that. So let's transition a little bit. And just, by the way, I'm going to back up. So for anybody interested in Clark's services, Left Hook Video Services, we're going to post the web link to the website, post show in the show notes. So you'll be able to connect with Clark through the website and his team and his services. But Clark, let's maybe shift away from Left Hook a little bit here. In the past, you've mentioned to me something about a car wash. Okay. And I want to bring this up because this is an important piece here. This is not just any car wash, right? What you had mentioned, this would be staffed by people with autism. And so first and foremost, I want to say, I think this is an awesome idea and kudos to you for thinking about this. But what is the driving force behind this respectable endeavor?
How much of the story you want me to tell? You want me to tell you just the why, or you want me to tell you what I tried to do, or all of it?
It's up to you, man. Tell us.
Okay.
Take us down the road.
Oh, geez. Okay. So a few years ago, I decided I wanted to potentially shift gears or add something to the portfolio, or maybe walk away from Left Hook. And I wanted to do something that I liked, and something that could scale, something that I could sell. My business, that's a tough, you gotta really grow. You got to really grow your revenue and your reoccurring revenue to sell. So that's a problem that I do have. Something I could sell, and something that was meaningful, something that was worthwhile. Also something that wouldn't be hurt by Amazon, Walmart, and AI. So I'm searching, and I'm literally whiteboarding with friends, like industries, things, and we're like literally have a full whiteboard, and we're breaking down Clark. It's crazy. And cars was like, that was my whole life. And long story short, the car wash idea. They're huge in Texas, man. They're like monthly subscriptions. I don't need to talk about that. That's pretty obvious. They are King Kong. And then but I also have this thing that I've always had as a kid. I'm slowing down because I don't want to cry again. My heart for special needs kids cannot be explained. My mom could probably explain it pretty good. I couldn't watch Life Goes On when I was, in the 90s. Remember that show with Corky? I couldn't, as a little kid, my heart couldn't handle that. And I wasn't like a weak kid. I got into fights, and I wasn't like sensitive. I'm a little crazy, and I've been in the hospital many times. My heart couldn't handle that. I couldn't. I mean, fist fights over someone making fun of somebody with special needs. I couldn't handle it, and it didn't make any sense. But I knew the Lord put that. I've always known that that's in my heart for a reason. My uncle, special needs, and other family members with special needs, and I have a patience for special needs kids that is only God given, because I don't have it for neurotypical people. Like, I do not have the same level of patience with neurotypical people like I do with special needs. it's something God gave me, and I never knew what to do with it, and it really bothered me, and that I never knew. I just didn't know. But this car wash idea comes up, and then I'm thinking, I have this passion. How do I connect it? And initially, I thought, oh, just give to organizations, do really well, make millions, and then have the business take some of the profits and donate it. And then I met with a lawyer to talk about this endeavor, and he puts his fork down and he looks at me and he goes, "You need to look up Rising Tides Car Wash right now in the meeting." So I look it up, and there it is. It's a car wash in Florida started by a man whose son has special needs. His other son is neurotypical. And when his son with special needs aged out of education, there was no place for him. There's no place. Walmart might hire him as a greeter. That's no life. That's no
Sure.
community. That's no dignity. So this man from New York decided to take matters into his own hands. And he decided to solve this social problem with business. And in my opinion, that's the way you solve social problems, is through the sale of a product, because the charity model is so dead. 2008, everybody started to stop making profits. Nonprofits were the first ones to get hit. When you tie it to the sale of a product, it's sustainable. And that's what this man did. And he employs 90% of employees, or 80% of his employees are special needs. And he has a 90% retention with his employees. And he's got 3 locations, and he is blowing and going. So when I saw that, it was like, that's it. I'm doing this 100%. And I went down the road. I went to Florida. I met with them. And then I was even more convinced. I went to the college, the car wash college, for a 2-day seminar in Fort Lauderdale. And I, I don't want to get through all the details. I don't want to bore you, but long story short, I went all the way to the finish line. I had the land. I put it under contract myself. I had a partner. I had the city. Oh, the city is the biggest obstacle for car washes.
Sure.
The city was rolling out the red carpet. Spectrum Shine Car Wash. That's the name of it. We employ special needs kids and their family, and they love their job, and they're treated with dignity. You know, something I saw in Florida, I watched the owner of the business of the car wash speak to these young men and women like real adults. Hey, stop, cut that out. Back to work. Come on, you know better. Let's go. Like dignity. And yes, sir. And you saw these kids, and I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I knew this was it. I got all the way to the finish line. I needed a $1.4 million down payment for a $7 million loan.
Mm-hmm.
I had 700,000. The only equation I don't have is the other 700,000. And every single money guy I talk to who loves me, they're looking at me like, bro, you are picking the wrong time to do this. Interest rates, you're at a 10% SBA. I can't do it, dude. And I just kept going. You know, I kept going. I'm like, you only lose if you quit, damn it. So I went all the way. And then what did I do simultaneously? I took my foot off the gas of left hook videos. It did okay that year, 2023. It did okay. Like, we're okay. But I took my foot off. Sales pipeline, because this is what I'm doing. My wife's going to take over left hook videos. We're going here. And long story short, it didn't work. It didn't work. And I do believe that I'm going to do it someday. I really, truly do. I'm going to do it. Someday I'm going to do it. When interest rates are down, whatever,
Yep.
I'm going up to bat again, at some point. But when 2024 started, this business here was in bad shape. And it has been a year, let's just say. But that's the answer to that question. Sorry, that was the longest answer. I'm sorry. But
No,
that's that.
no, it's good. I love the story because you had mentioned that to me in the past, and I wanted to bring it up in the podcast. I think it's an awesome endeavor, like I mentioned before, and I know for a fact it's not if, it's when. And so we'll stay tuned, and we'll maybe have you back on when you launch it here in the next couple of
Yeah.
years. So we'll put a placeholder in for that one. But
Mm-hmm.
you in the past, like during this episode here, you talked about the why, right? Earlier on, you talked about the why, and I want to know a little bit more about the what. And we're all chasing our own version of success, but what we ultimately want to know on this podcast platform is, what is Clark Diemer ultimately chasing?
You know, the Gary Vaynerchuk one time said, And I love it because he's so blunt. You love him, hate him. Whatever he says out of his mouth is exactly what he thinks and feels, and it's real. You can choose not to like it, but he just uses plain English. And he was making fun of the way people describe success. Like, it was hilarious. Like, he was making fun of fun. He was having fun with entrepreneurs who have this big, huge answer to what is success. How do you define success? What are you chasing? And he goes, as an entrepreneur, regardless of your religious belief system, anything, uh, success is doing what you want when you want to do it. That's time freedom. That's financial freedom. Like, and to get that is hard. It's hard, right? But that is what we're going for. You know, I I want I want to be able to go through all of this so that by the time my kids are, out of high school, I have something that I can bring them into. Again, they're my why, right?
Yep.
I can bring them into, or I have something that can fund what they want to do. My wife and I have great aspirations to really fund projects that deal with special needs, the homeless in Dallas, stuff with our church. We have a strong desire to do that, and I'm chasing that. And that, by the way, for the record, everything I just said equals to millions of dollars. Like, that's the what is like getting to a place where there's millions of dollars at play, whether it be revenue, profit, savings, whatever it is. That's what we're chasing. It's big, right? It's the reason why not everybody goes for it, because I want to be able to do those things. And if my kids want to start a business, they have a great idea, but I don't have a $500,000 that I could lose. Like, I can't do that, and I want to do that. That's what.
Okay. No, that's great. We love these answers to these stories because everybody's different. Everybody's chasing something different, right? Their why or their what is different, and success is different to every person. So we're going to start to wind things down here a bit, Clark. Number one, I want to thank you for your time and sharing your authentic story. It's been quite a journey for you, obviously, from the Windsor, Ontario, Detroit suburb to
Yep.
the great state of Texas. Just for the audience's awareness, again, I'm going to bring this up. We're going to post a link to Clark's LinkedIn profile, and we're also going to, again, post a link to the Left Hook Videos website. Now, Clark, before we kind of shut things down here, there was really two statements that I continually hear you say on this podcast episode. One is, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was, you only lose if you quit.
Uh-huh.
Take us maybe back to who said those to you, and what do those mean as you've gone through the journey?
First thing is, I think that the reason why I've said it is because this last year I went through it again. Like, I had to like zero in on those things because it was hard. This year was tough. And we're so excited for 2025. We're building a new podcast studio, a new office renovation. We're going to offer podcast services, and I'm very excited about the future. I have two new partners. My best friend in the world, Shadi Awad from Toronto. I met him here. They own an amazing IT business. Him and his partner Sam, they've come on to become minority partners, and I'm super excited about that. But I've said it on the podcast here a couple of times because I just this year I've had to remind myself of that because it's been tough. And my dad, I mean, it's funny because some people use 1,000 words when 100 will do. You ever heard that saying? In my business, I have to.
From you.
Yeah, in my business, part of my job is difficult sometimes because I have a founder of a company doing a video about his company, and now I have to interrupt him and call cut and say, "Sorry, sir, that we need you to shorten it." Right? People always try and do this. Well, my dad's not one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those old school boomers, bro, who like whatever comes out of his freaking mouth, that's exactly it. And, over the years, we go to Florida once a year or twice a year to see them. We go to Canada once a year. And it's like he knows when things aren't good, even though I don't talk about it because I don't want to tell my dad about my failures. How are things going? You have work? And once I give him an answer like that's like telling the truth, he just stop and look at me. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And for some reason, when he says it, it fills my gas tank. Yeah, it's like, again, that doesn't make sense, but it's the person delivering the message, and then my mom's like undying belief that I'm gonna be good, and that she's seen me come help me go through things, but she's positive, and I don't know how, and because she raised me, and they know like you're designed to do this. You just gotta not quit. So
I love it, man. It's so cool. I mean, I can hear it on this episode. I can hear it when I talk to you. Your frame of reference is entrepreneurship, excuse me. And it's in your DNA, man. So kudos for driving forward, for the journey. It's all about the journey at the end of the day.
yeah.
Before we shut this down, anything else you want to share before we conclude the episode?
Yeah, my wife will watch this and she'll know that I didn't talk about her too much because obviously the second I said her name, I broke down like a child. Um, but her and I were talking the other day. We're going through December's numbers, right? And we're going through December's numbers, and she's looking at it and she's like, "Whoa, whoa." I'm like, this is why we do this. Because last month, the month before was terrible. Our savings, and that takes a toll. Yeah, all those entrepreneurs out there, guys that want to be entrepreneurs, like if your wife's not with you, don't try. Don't do it. That's my opinion. Don't try and go for it. If she's not with you all the way, like that's just my opinion. But she's with me, and so we have these moments where we're in pain and we're savings because everybody's going to get paid. I'm getting what's left, right? And And then the other night, we're looking at December, a little whiteboard we have, and I'm like writing it down, and I turn it around and show it to her. And I was like, if everybody pays this month, this is what we got. That's what we're working with. And she was like she almost started to cry a little bit. She did cry. She cried. And I said, see, this is it. Like these are the reasons why. Like we can keep going. We can. So I guess, I wanted to reiterate my wife's partnership with me. Um, People would be surprised to hear that she's picked me up off the ground. You know, People that know me wouldn't, or know, they wouldn't think that. Like and they would be wrong. They would be wrong. I'm nothing like special. I'm not some super strong dude. Like, you know what I mean? I put my faith in God the best I can, and I do this thing called life with my wife, and we chose a really hard path, and without her I couldn't do it, and I'm really excited about this next season. Our family's in a great spot. Love my kids. We homeschool, which is amazing. Another benefit of having your own business. We go to
Yep.
Florida. School books come. I can work from there. She can do homeschool. So we're doing this thing together, and I'm really excited about it. And yeah, that if I could give one piece of advice to guys out there who are maybe struggling, and they're going through it, and they're really, really thinking about giving up, you know what I'm going to say. What happens when you
I
give
want to.
up?
I want to
What
hear it.
happens when you give up? You
I
quit.
want
You
to hear
quit.
it.
You quit and you lose. You quit and you lose. Don't quit. Josh, just hold on. Just white knuckle that. I used to come home and she'd look at me and go, "How was today?" And I'm like, oh, "Hold on. I don't want to tell her that we're not getting paid for this project because they just told me. I don't want to tell her that I lost that contract. So what I would say is, gotta hold on. Just muscle it up. You know what I mean? Just hold on." And so again, it's like it seems like the most basic concept, but if you really stop and think about it, with whatever you're working on and all the effort you're putting in, like truly you beat yourself is usually how most people go out. They beat themselves. They just tap out and don't, because it'll still be there. You'll be surprised at what you can do if you just don't quit, right?
I love it, man. Listen, again, I'm going to say this. I truly mean this. Congrats on the journey. At the end of the day, the journey is the destination here,
You
and we
too.
really appreciate you sharing your story. And I think for the audience too, just a reminder, our disclaimers on our website are www.chasinggoalposts.com/disclaimers. This has been an awesome episode, Clark, and we look forward to maybe doing it again, man. And this time, maybe next time, in your podcast studio.
Yeah, maybe I interview you.
There we go. All right, man. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Bye bye.